and today we're gonna read the Miss Nelson is Missing. It's a new book and a new stories. And today we're gonna start reading at first pages and the end of reading the stories, okay? And now, already read this one book with a lot of stories, and now here we go. And first we can read is Miss Nelson is Missing. First pages. The kids in the room. 207 are having again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whipped through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school. Now settle down, said Miss Nelson in a sweet voice. But the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces. They were even rude during Story Owl, and they always refused to do their lessons. Something will have to be done, said Mrs. Nelson. The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. Wow, yelled the kids. Now we can really act up. They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. Today, let's be just terrible, they said. Not so fast, his stubborn and pleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood up for them. I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp. And she rubbed the desk with her ruler. Where is Mrs. Nelson? Said the kids. Never mind that, snapped Mrs. Swamp. Open those arithmetic books. Miss Nelson, kids, they were told. They could see Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away she put them to work. And she loaded them with homework. We will have no Story Owl today, said Mrs. Swamp. Keep your mouth shut, said Mrs. Swamp. Sit perfectly still, said Mrs. Swamp. If you misbehave, you'll be sorry, said Mrs. Swamp. The kids in the room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by, and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids missed Miss Nelson. Maybe we should try to find her, they said. Some of them went to the police. Detective Mrs. Mock was assigned to the case. He listened to the story, and he scratched his chin. He said, I think Miss Nelson is missing. Detective Miss Mock would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades were tightly drawn and no one answered the door. In fact, only one person they did see the wicked Miss Viola Swamp coming from the street. If she sees us, she will give us more homework. They got away just in time. Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson. Maybe she was gobbled by the shark, said one of the kids. But they didn't seem likely. Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid. But they didn't seem likely either. I know, exclaimed the one know-it-all. Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried by a swarm of angry butterflies. But they were the least likely of all. The kids into the room 2007 became very destroyed. It seemed Mrs. Nelson was never coming back, and they would be stuck and Miss Viola Swamp forever. Their footsteps into the hall. Here comes the witch, they whispered. Hello, children, someone said into the sweet voice. This is Miss Nelson. Did you miss me? She said. We certainly did, cried the kids. Where are you? It's my little secret, said Mrs. Nelson. How about Story Owl? Oh, yes, cried the kids. Miss Nelson noticed the drawing Story Owl and no one ruled or silly. What Everybody's the lovely change, she said. It's our little secret, said the kids. And back home, Miss Nelson took off the coat and hung it into the closet, right next to an ugly black dress. Oh, ugly black dress! Miss Viola Swamp had wear that. That means Miss Nelson have turned into Miss Viola Swamp to make the kids very nicely and very beautifully and settle down nice and very good at drawing a story owl too. And when it's time to read, she sang a little song. I'll never tell, she said to herself with a smile. P.S. Detective Miss Muck working a new case. He was looking for Miss Viola Swamp. Now it's the end of reading Miss Nelson is Missing stories. So, did you have fun? You lost English Country. We come back with some new beginning, new stories. Okay, and now bye-bye everybody, and please thumbs up my YouTube if you like my YouTube too. Bye-bye everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.